Good morning, everyone. This is Dana from NexGen, and I hope everyone has had a fabulous weekend. Now, last week, if you remember, and I'll put the link up at the top, I talked about the planners, the journals, and the notebooks I'm using this year. And I am very excited to talk to you about the new note-taking tools that I'm using. So whether you take your notes digitally or you use a spiral notebook, you use a coil or spiral binding, or even string binding, I learned about that. There's different ways that we take notes, and sometimes we combine where we do our planning and where we do our journaling. Sometimes all of those can be in one place. But today I would like to talk to you about a new way that I am taking notes. Now, as I said before, I do take notes digitally. So for the majority of the time, I am taking notes, writing them by hand. And there's something to be said about writing notes by hand. And I'm going to leave some information in the description below to talk about the benefits of writing by hand or handwriting. It has so many benefits. So this particular notebook that I'm going to be talking to you about is a reusable notebook. So I've used spiral notebooks before. Let's say that I particularly used them when I was in school, and I've also used them when I was at work. And some people may use them for other things, but if you remember from my previous videos, I try to stop at least 2 hours before I go to bed all electronics. So when I'm preparing for bed and I'm reading and I'm writing notes, I'm writing them without the benefit of electronics. And that is what I keep by my bedside. So when I wake up in the morning, I have something to write with. So what is really interesting about this note-taking system is that it's reusable. And what's important to me about the fact that it's reusable is that I'm not using a lot of paper, because normally the things that I write in my notebook or write in notes, it's either going to be temporary or transferred over to my journal or to the planner, or in some cases both. So I needed something to keep if I needed to, and if I didn't, dispose of it in a responsible way. So whether you're taking notes for lectures or Bible study, or you just want a place to basically do a brain dump, nothing extravagant, you can write on this notebook. Now, on one side, it's lined paper. On the other side, it's dot grid. So you can write on it, you can draw on it, you can do all kinds of things. And then I'll tell you, what's also good about this is that after you've written all of your notes, if you want to retain it, you can do so electronically by taking a picture of this page or pages. Let's say that you're writing and you're taking notes and you're taking more than one page. There is a way for you to capture all multiple pages. So for me, note taking is recording information. And I definitely have this notebook with me, like I said, beside my bed when I get up in the morning, well, when I go to bed, and then when I get up in the morning, if there's some notes that I want to write, I'll go ahead and write it there. And then when I'm talking to people on the telephone, I have this notebook beside me so that I can record information. And sometimes if I'm going to make a phone call and I want to ask certain questions, or I want to remember to ask and get information on certain things, I have this notebook with me. So sometimes I also have this notebook near my calendar, especially when I need to pay attention to some dates. Now, the only thing I need to be concerned about, or the worst thing that can happen, is I run out of ink because it is a pen. So I do have backup pens. So that's kind of with anything that you may have. This particular notebook is what they would call a flip. Now, they do have other types of notebooks that have the coils on the side. Now, the reason why I prefer this one is, as you can see, well, as some of you may know, I'm left-handed, so I don't have the coils or the spiral binding on my hand. So the ease of writing or drawing or whatever I need to do is natural and unencumbered, if you will. So I can use these notes for business, for personal, for anything, shopping list, anything that I would need to take notes for. And again, as I said before, I can transfer this information either onto a journal, onto my planner. And what's also really good about this is that I can put it in my Padfolio, and I talked about that, to protect it if I have to take it outside. Now, one of the things that you don't want to do with this notebook is you don't want to expose it to excessive heat, because that way, if you do that, the way this ink works on this type of paper, it actually erases. Now, what's really cool about it is if that happens, if you want the information to come back, all you would have to do is put it in the freezer. Isn't that something? Okay, so let's say that I want to get rid of this information either after I captured it digitally or I just don't need it anymore. Well, all I have to do is use a moist cloth to wipe it down. And when I do that, all I have to do is wait for it to dry and I can reuse the page again. Now, I have 36 pages that I can use. So, and usually when I write notes, I don't really need all these pages, but I do have it at my disposal. So I hope the information was beneficial for you today. And I wanted to share something that I had never seen before. Some of you may have seen it. So this is the way that I can write down information, capture information in real time, and also be economically responsible because I can reuse these pages. So don't forget to comment, share, like this video, and if you haven't done so, subscribe. And have a great week, and I will talk to you soon, because next week I'm going to be talking to you about another notebook that I looked into that is actually bound by string. That is something really exciting. So I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great week.